What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with our next video for Might and Magic Elemental Guardians. Today, we are going to take a look at the new event, the Restricted Access event that's going to challenge us to bring either 1, 2, or 3 creatures into the secret dungeon in order to obtain some new rewards. Now, before we get into that though, we did pull a couple of new units last week, so I just wanted to go ahead and showcase those for you all. I have been working on just 1 out of the 3. But we'll go ahead and take a look at just all of them around in case you do have them, so that if you are looking to build it or looking to incorporate it in this dungeon, you may be able to do so. The 3 that I got was the Water Holy Sister, the Air Crusader, and the Fire Treant. So out of all those 3, I'm a big fan of all of them, but the Water Holy Sister by far was the one that I definitely wanted to accelerate when it comes to building it and whatnot. Definitely used my XP potions as well as gotten some glyphs ready. Skilled it up completely because it simply is amazing. We're going to take a look at her kit real quick. Mass Cleansing. You have an AoE cleanse with a speed buff and a cooldown reduction for 2. And this is generally at an 8-turn cooldown, but it's brought down to 5 after you get it all scaled up there, so really nice. Obviously, this kind of goes in line with regards to the Air Unicorn. That's the one that I used in previous Rat 10 dungeons. I mean, I still use it to this day because of the beneficial blocker, but you know, having a cleanse that can do all abilities or all harmful effects versus just 2 from the Air Unicorn is obviously really good. But the real big bonus to it is the cooldown reduction, allowing you just to cast some of your best skills a lot more frequently. Okay, the second skill, which I'm a big fan of, it heals an ally by 65% of the max HP and increases their attack for 2 turns. Now, the attack for 2 turns is kind of a bonus for me. The value for me comes just from the size of that heal and the cooldown of it. I mean, 3-turn cooldown on a super strong heal is really nice. She kind of you know, plays that pseudo healer, pseudo cleanser kind of a role. This is like a support type of unit that you're going to bring alongside a stronger you know, AoE healer or something like that. So having somebody like that that can, you know, pick who they want and provide a really substantial heal is really nice here. The Holy Sisters I'm a big fan of because they have an opportunity to get either Confused or the mute or silence ability on their first skill. I got Confused and I'm pretty happy with that because if I play around with it in certain PvE dungeons, like maybe TOT or even PvP, if I want to mess around with it, having that Confused ability is really nice, and the chance to land it is relatively high in comparison to some other skills in the game. So pretty happy with that. Really good unit. You can honestly throw it in just about any composition that you want, just for the value of what it brings to your team. So there's nothing really wrong you can do about it. Now I'm running Haste Meditation. You know, this is one of those units that I would definitely run double meditation if I can. But as you guys can see, I have a couple of glyphs that are not completely maxed. The reason being is that I'm looking to get her relatively fast, but make sure that she is the last one to go. Why is that the case? Because I want to be able to take full advantage of her resetting ability on this 3rd one here to go ahead and reduce the cooldowns, right? Having her be the fastest unit is not going to mean too much if she's providing the skill and trying to reduce cooldowns, or trying to decrease the cooldowns when they're already, you know, readily available, right? There's nothing really we can do to reduce the cooldowns if their abilities are ready to go. Now, if they already cast it and then now they're sitting at like a 5, 6, or 7-turn cooldown, then it's going to be really good. Obviously, you're looking to pair this one with units to provide amazing kits that have high cooldowns. This is not something that you're going to bring in with, you know, 2 to 3 units that have all passives, unless their second skill must be like super OP and has a high cooldown. But generally speaking, the second skill for most units doesn't have a relatively high cooldown, so there's not going to be too much value added. But either way, that's just kind of the gist of it. I will be improving those glyphs on the top when I need to, when I improve my other units, when I improve the speed of my other units. But right now, I need to keep her at 127 because all my other units are like at 128 or higher. Just kind of keep in mind, if you do play around with it, this skill that is based off of their max HP, this heal is off of their max HP, not like the Winter Druid, which is based off of, you know, her own max HP. So you can build her however you want, you know, double speed, double defense, double HP, like I'm doing. To kind of have a little bit of balance, because the heal that provides for them is going to be based on their heal, their HP versus somebody else. Okay, let's move on to the air ones here. The Air Crusader, again, I'm leveling up because I focused on the Water Holy Sister here, but Obviously, this is a really, really good unit. If you guys haven't seen this already, this is definitely used quite a bit in both PvE and PvP. Similar to the Water Holy Sister, you have that cooldown reduction here with a very high cooldown. You can obviously bring that down when you get it maxed out. If you ever take a look at the skills here, you can bring that up to a 40% attack bar manipulation with a 6-turn cooldown when you get it maxed out. But either way, some people do play around with this for the first turn if they're messing around with this in arena offense or arena defense, or they play around with it in such that they're kind of use it similar to how I'm using Water Holy Sister. I'm letting it be the unit that goes last, so that I can get a little bit more value out of this cooldown reduction. But again, this is one of the unique units that has an attack bar increase, but also has a relatively high base speed. So again, some people have made the argument to have this one be the fastest one to go. The cool thing about attack bar manipulation in the positive direction is that you don't have to have a certain amount of accuracy to make this one shine, whereas somebody like the Fire Goblin Shaman, I'm forced to not only have the speed but also have the accuracy to make sure that I'm able to strip and I'm able to reduce the attack bar, right? Because if I'm not accurate enough, or if they have really high resistance, I'm gonna be struggling at that. And if 1 or 2 units on their team doesn't get the attack bar reduction, they may be able to cut in between and screw up my setup here. So really good skill overall. And again, this one's kind of like the Water Holy Sister, where it has second skill, relatively low cooldown. I think 4-turn cooldown is pretty nice. I think this one actually goes up to a 3-turn, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this one goes up to a 3-turn, so that's going to be really nice indeed. And again, a really, really high heal with the shelter ability for 1 turn. So if I recall correctly, this one also gets improved, right? The effect turns +1. Yeah, this also gets improved here. The heal gets improved to 70%, and then the effect goes up to 2 turns here. So it just makes it a little bit easier to keep your units alive. And even though you may not have another healer, that shelter ability is going to help protect it if they decide to keep on, if they keep on decided to focus on it. I did went ahead and evolve him, and I was fortunate enough to get the 45% chance to stun him. I do believe that's the preferred one to go because of the fact that after you're using this unit for the 2nd and 3rd skill, while he's just waiting for those cooldowns to come back, having the opportunity to stun a unit is just going to be super annoying for the opposing team if they don't have any sort of immunity to go ahead and counteract that. So I'm a huge fan of this, whether you decide to use it to get the first turn, on your like arena defense or something like that, or offense, or if you're just using it maybe in the PvE setting, allowing it to go after your other units, then you're still going to be set with this unit. Now the next one here, we're going to be real quick about it because there's really, there's a lot to talk about, but again, I don't have this one build up here, and I'm waiting essentially, and this is, I'm glad and I'm showing you like how the fact that I don't have glyphs on them, we're just kind of talking about the units, because a lot of the times when we do a lot of summons and we're looking to like push through it and want to build them real quick, we realize that while certain units appear to look good and they may fit in our team really good, ultimately it all depends on the glyphs that we have. It doesn't matter how many nat 3s and nat 4s you pull, if you don't have the glyphs to back it up, you really can't use it. So I'm basically wanting to show you guys that while I did get this unit alongside the Water Holy Sister and the Air Crusader, out of the 3 units that I had, not only was the Water Holy Sister for my comp, for my monster box, the one that's going to be the most beneficial, but it's also the one that I actually legitimately had glyphs for. This one here has a really unique passive here, providing a 20% heal for the max HP, but you need high critical rate in order to make this unit shine, right? It does have this drain ability on this skill that's based off this attack, but honestly, the passive is what's really super OP about it. And of course, even though you can make this relatively tanky, get the high critical rate, it's all based upon when it gets the turn. So if you have a lower speed, you're still going to have a hard time dealing with some other some higher level content because of the fact that their base speed is relatively decent, right? So it's funny that we say that, because we're going to be moving on to the event right now, the restricted access event. This is something that, believe it or not, guys, I'm actually struggling a little bit to clear. I've cleared basically, I think, the first 3 stages of the 1 creature and the 2 creature setups, and today we're going to go ahead and hop in the 3 creature one and just kind of clear a little bit and see how we do, right? So the biggest thing about this secret dungeon, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 star, 1, 2, or 3 creatures, is a lot of people are going to be like, okay, well, like, am I just going to throw in random units that I have, or how am I going to go about this? Is it going to be a cakewalk? What is the case may be. After playing the first two stages, or the first two sections with the one creature and 2-star creatures, obviously the first few stages were relatively easy. I feel like stage 1 through stage 3 was not too bad. However, you could definitely tell that the developers of these dungeons did not take the strategy of taking this one down lightly, right? They're definitely mixing it up with certain units of specific elements that are going to have elemental advantage towards units that are relatively strong by themselves or with a partner. For example, as you can see, like anybody that has the Fire Succubus, you guys know that they're going to be using it for that one creature slot. Her kit does an exceptional amount of damage, and then provides a life-draining ability that is going to allow her to keep her alive, making her one of the best farmers in the game. So considering that fact, one of the things that you notice is that the water element is definitely readily all over the place here. So you're dealing with elemental advantage. While it does not have an impact on your critical rate per se, the reduction of the damage is obviously going to hurt a little bit, and then of course the elemental advantage that it has is going to make it a little bit easier for you guys to take it out. In addition to that, you have the different types of harmful effects that it's bringing. I believe that there was I think it was a water spirit cub that I ran into in the 4th stage of the one creature setup, where it had not only the elemental advantage, but it had the attack and defense break. And then there was a couple of other units in that lineup that also had heal block. You're going to see that a lot. Defense breaks, heal blocks, things that are going to not allow you to bring, or not allow you to like basically try to go YOLO. So keep that in mind when you're playing around. As you can see right here, we're running into some more units that provide the defense break, the heal block, and this is very, very consistent throughout the levels that I'm seeing in all 3 of the stages here. So what can you do to alleviate that? Bringing in stuff that can provide a cleanse, bringing in stuff that has maybe some kind of immunity. Anything that can provide a little bit of sustainability is good. And also keep in mind that while I am using a farmer to clear some of the content right now, I think one of the things to consider is not the value of what great team synergy is, because that's extremely important, but also think about your hero, think about the wizard and the way that you have it built. A lot of the content creators have been preaching about the damage build, especially in Chimera, if you have the opportunity to do so. Even though you have specific 3 different types of builds that you can do, while the Chimera build is nice to provide a little bit of extra damage and some defense breaks, you may consider playing around with maybe a materia build, which is going to provide a little bit more sustainability for your team. Is this something that I would consider switching every single time I deal with difficult stuff? Maybe not. But if you think about the cost of what it can do, what it can be, to change it and make the improvements that possibly give you a little bit more RNG to stay alive, I mean, you might as well mess around with it. We'll take a look at it real quick here, just so you guys can see. If we take a look at the wizard, right, and we go to the skills, like if you wanted to go ahead and change it out, obviously we're going to have to remove the last nodes, go all the way through, but I believe it's like 10 seals or something like that to go ahead. Yeah, 10 seals to activate this one here. So it's obviously not a very expensive thing to do, right? You guys can do this relatively cheap and just kind of get back into it. That's something to consider trying, right? Because I mean, anything that can assist you in clearing this content so you can finish out the rewards, it would be really good. Another thing to put out there from the community on Discord, a lot of people are saying, this is relatively hard. This is going to be challenging. I do believe that it is hard. I completely agree with you guys. But one thing to think about is that it's when we think about dungeons, it's extremely hard to create content that is balanced across the board for whatever range you are, right? You're gonna have some players that are really high up there, have been grinding a little bit, got themselves quite a bit of key units that provide a lot of different kits and whatnot. And then you got some of us that have a couple of units, a couple of good glyphs, and we're just trying to clear as much as we can to get as many rewards. There has to be that challenge factor for anybody that plays along. But honestly, while some of us, and I've even said it myself, I'm like, initially I'm saying, well, yeah, it's relatively hard, but the crazy thing about it is, let me think about this understanding, or this whole aspect of this dungeon, right? They're intentionally forcing us to bring less units in order to take a look at our monster box and say, okay, which units synergize the best with one another? Yes, we got the wire treant. Yes, we got the fire succubus, but is there some units that work better with that unit over the other in order for us to get either the necessary damage or the necessary sustainability in order to make it through? Now, I just want to say I am autoing these stages right now. I cannot auto stage 4 and stage 5. I haven't done it one in the three star, or I haven't done it in the 3 creature one, but we'll go ahead and show you guys. I mean, you can see it right here. I'm getting Rick rolled right now. The defense break, the heal blocks. I mean, it's definitely a struggle to deal with. But this is definitely something you're going to have to manual, right? This is like TOT. You're going to have to take your time with it. And you really definitely want to bring yourself like a 100% synergized team, like across the board here. So could we make an argument that, you know, you like, hey, I'm limited on resources. I'm just going to try to use the, you know, the whatever I got. Sure, most definitely. But just keep in mind that I think that was the intention. It's funny. I see somebody in the chat right now talking about like pay to win and something like that. It's like, yeah, maybe it's only for pay to win players. When we think about, you know, and again, I don't want to say anything negative here, but the majority of the events, right? The majority of the rewards that we can obtain, we can get that from the early on stages. You know, the 4th and 5th stages, there's a couple of extra ones that we can obtain. But when we think about the end reward, right? The end reward being a chest or whatnot, is it a great reward? Sure. Is it like the best thing that we've seen? No, not really. We can make an argument for that. So I just say do the best that you can, right? See as far as you can go, and if you have the resources, or if you have some units that you were like, maybe I'm like looking to build it, but it's not too important right now. Take a look at it. See if it's worth your time to possibly invest into it. Because not only are we looking to build certain units down the road for other aspects of the game, if it's something that can help you right now, then you can provide a little bit of value out of it. And so again, the biggest things that I'm seeing right now, obviously the units are bringing in they're bringing in the debuffs, right? They're bringing in the defense breaks, the heal blocks. That's super important. And as you get higher up in the level, the base speed of these units are relatively high. If I recall correctly, stage 4 of the first 2 sections, the 1 creature and the 2 creatures, I think those units started out with like 100 and I mean they had more speed than my Succubus here, so we'll take a look at it real quick. Okay, I got a little bit more speed on this one, but I do recall the stage 4 on the 1 creature here. I'll probably show it to you right here since we already went ahead and died again. We know that we're going to lose because we're trying to auto it. This is not something that we should be autoing, and obviously that team is not like, it's not going to be the one to you know, do, right? So let me go ahead and show it right here. Fire Succubus, I'm pretty sure the stage 4 outspeeds my units, right? Yeah, okay, so you can see right there, I believe those are the water snake flies. They actually outspeed me, and they have the elemental advantage towards me, so it's going to be really, really hard to take down. We were able to get it in, and now we're going to move on here. Now that I think this is the Spirit Cubs, right? These units provide the defense break and crit, and there it is, GG. So it's one of those things where like they understand which units are relatively strong, and they're trying to see if you can essentially bring something else in order to take it out. Or I might have to, you know, save my second skill, right, and save it for that ignore defense ability for one of those cubs, see if I could take it out, and then only have to deal with one of the water cubs there at that second stage in order to get past it, you know. So it's a couple of things that I got to think about. Again, while I know that some people could be frustrated about this, it is relatively hard, but it's trying to motivate us to try new things and see what kind of combinations we can make in order to accomplish our goal. Now, I would like to put it out there, if you guys have taken this on and have been able to take it down, you know, why don't you talk about some of the different types of teams and whatnot that you use for different stages of the creatures, and talk about it. You know, what are the things that you did? Be specific, not just say, oh, I brought the water treant OP, but what kind of combinations did you do? What kind of things did you have to do manually in order to get the clear? Was there a little bit of balance here, just like managing your skills, or were you just like, hey, I got pretty much lucky and I use this unit, it can work, but you have to have a little bit of RNG kind of go your way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your feedback on that, guys. That's going to be it. If you guys found this video useful in any way, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.